Welcome to Tap and Yap, a cEDH podcast where two Aussies tap lands and yap nonsense. But most importantly, we talk about winning. I'm Jack.
And I'm Riley, and today we got a very special guest, Alucard here, who is the Iron Man pilot that we've been talking about the last couple of weeks. Just like a super cool deck that I've been looking at and just plays like a lot of cool pieces. And we're just gonna jump into the deck today. And yeah, do you just want to introduce yourself, Alucard?
Sweet. Yeah. Like you said, my name is Alucard. My real name is Devin. Go by Alucard on 90% of things that I go off of. I am the Iron Man enthusiast.
All right, so before we jump into the deck itself, I thought it'd be great to kind of sit down, ask a couple of questions, because honestly, you're playing a really unique deck that I think is super sick. And I mean, the first question I think on everyone's mind is, why are you playing Iron Man? Is it just for the enjoyment of Iron Man itself? Is there some cool reason why, or?
To tell you the truth, it was something that I stumbled into. I've got a really good friend that's an Oswald pilot, and I got bored one day and went, "Hey, you're really big into stack stuff like that. It's the archetype that I haven't tried out yet. Getting into CDH. I think it'd be funny to do a turbo mill deck and just lock them out from being able to play at their graveyards." Well, at the time, it was pre-bans before Nadu and the rest of it got banned, and Iron Man was only leaked. So originally, it was put together as a cool painter servant, grindstone, Grafdiggers, soulless jailer kind of deck, just something for the memes. Started playing it some more, just have fun with it at my LGS. Fell in love with the card. Been absolutely hyper fixated on it since.
I guess also, I guess we can ask as well, how long have you been playing Magic and cEDH for?
Oh Lord, I've been playing Magic since 2011, give or
Oh,
take. Kind of did what everybody does, in and out, in and out. Um, when Strixhaven came back around, got into it again really heavy, have been in it since, and then getting into CDH. Oh, I got into it about 6 months before the most recent bans and whatnot. So 6 months before Crypt and JLo and everybody else got absolutely mollywopped out of here. So it's not the longest amount of time, what, give or take 2 years?
yeah, okay, no, that's cool, that's cool. All right. Yeah, this is great. All right. So for those that don't know what Iron Man is, he's three generic, a blue and a red for a legendary artifact creature, human hero. He has flying and haste, and then whenever Iron Man attacks, create a treasure token. Then you may sacrifice a non-creature artifact. If you do, search your library for an artifact card with mana value equal to +1 that sacrificed artifact's mana value. Put it onto the battlefield tapped, and then shuffle. Um, Really cool card when it first got like leaked or whatever. I picked this card up because I thought it was super sick. I've definitely seen people playing it in casual, so seeing it in cEDH is definitely super sick. So I think what we'll do first, if you want to tell us your favorite win line, Alucard, to kind of explain what you do, how you do it, why you enjoy it, that type of stuff.
Yeah, yeah. So my favorite win line is going to be Esoteric Duplicator, Cart Clan Ironworks, and Ugin's Nexus. Um, Esoteric is a 3 mana drop that says, hey, whenever you sack an artifact, pay 2. If you do, create a copy of it instead. KCI is your generic, cool, I'm going to break everything that exists for artifacts. Sack artifact, make 2 generic. And then Ugin's Nexus is a stacks piece, but also an infinite turn generator. It says, hey, if you would take an extra turn, you don't, if this is on field, or when this hits the graveyard, exile it, take an extra turn. With KCI and Esoteric, those two on field generate protection for me. Somebody goes to play a Psychonic Rift or anything of that sort. Esoteric Duplicator has an activated ability, which allows me to pay for its cost and instantly sack my entire board. I will lose one artifact permanently, but I have protection. It's really difficult to remove my pieces once KCI and Esoteric are on field. From there, it is one attack trigger. Put Iron Man the attack trigger on, use KCI to sack an artifact, it doesn't matter. Float 2, sack the KCI to Iron Man. get Ugin's Nexus, Esoteric goes on to the trigger, get a copy of KCI in the end step. In the end step, sack the Ugin's Nexus. Every end step, you'll make another Ugin's Nexus, generating yourself infinite turns, infinite damage, whatever you need.
Dude, I didn't realize
Yeah.
that you can sacrifice the KCI to go get the Ugin's Nexus and then just get the KCI back with the duplicator.
Yeah, the interaction with a KCI and Esoteric being able to be like, cool, hey, here's a Psychonic Rift, here's an Overloaded Vandal Blast, which you don't see very often in cEDH, but then again, I've also seen Vandal Blast with since Darkside got banned, Vandal Blast is coming back. It's interesting to be like, cool, we're just gonna get rid of this Beseiju, whatever, and it goes, how about no? I don't want you to, because what do you do something, activate KCI, it's a mana ability, doesn't use the stack. Trigger goes on the stack. You can respond there. Worst case, I'll do it again.
Yeah, this deck is insane. Like, it's just like runs such like that's such an interesting combo and like such Brewer's advantage because people see this Ugin's Nexus and people look at it and go, "This will break the game somehow. I just don't know how." And then by the time you're just like, "Yeah, sack it to KCI, copy it," it's too late. They're already dead. Like,
Yeah, and I mean, the nice thing is that with Ugin's Nexus, yes, it's a 5-drop, and even if I get it early game before I'm set up with KCI or Esoteric, Ugin's Nexus lets me go, hey, your Final Fortune, irrelevant. Your Warrior's Call, irrelevant. I don't care about your extra turns. Most people see it as stack piece, and then worst case, cool. I'm going to use a grinding station effect or another something that eats another artifact that not necessarily Iron Man and go, cool, I'm going to take an extra turn and I'm going to win the game. I have an on-field instant speed. As long as I have removal, I'm going to take an extra turn.
even like worst comes worst, you can just sack it to Iron Man when you attack on that turn and have an extra turn anyway.
Yes, it's absolutely wonderful.
All right. Well, now that we've kind of found your favorite win condition, do we want to talk about some of the other win lines and stuff that's available in the deck as well?
So in my list that I'm currently running, I have a grand total of 3 win lines. Esoteric, which we just covered. I do have Goblin Welder paired with Sewer Valence Cam and another artifact that either makes me mana, that draws me cards, something along the lines. How the combo will work is Goblin Welder without Summoning Sickness is able to tap and swap out 2 artifacts from my graveyard and the battlefield. Assuming Goblin Welder turn 1, turn 2, Iron Man, as soon as it doesn't have Summoning Sickness, you swing out, generate the treasure token, sack the treasure token, go get Sewer Valence Cam. It'll enter and it will untap or tap target creature. This allows us to be able to go, cool, I'm going to indefinitely sack Welder and an artifact in the bin and swap them back and forth. Will that, as long as the artifact that I'm swapping with Sewer Cam doesn't sack itself like an LED or a Lotus Petal, I can generate infinite mana. With a One Ring, I can generate infinite card draw. It essentially says, hey, I'm going to indefinitely cast my deck. A fun interaction is if you just have just a mana rock and you're able to produce infinite of each, Sewer Cam and Welder, but no other outlet. Sewer Cam itself has an outlet that says, hey, sack this, draw 2 cards. Normally, that is the end of your line. However, if you can generate infinite mana, you can swap it with Iron Man. When Iron Man hits the graveyard, put it to the command zone, recast Iron Man. Now you have an artifact on field to swap with the Sewer Cam. So every time that you swap the Sewer Cam, sack itself, put it on and draw 2 cards, Iron Man goes back to the graveyard, goes back to the command zone, you recast it with your infinite mana, draw your deck. So Sewer Cam itself is the win con and the outlet.
Yeah, well, I didn't even think of like Iron Man being an artifact for that. So yeah, being able to like make infinite mana and also have like a way to also draw your entire deck because your command is an artifact is no, that's cool. Like
The
that
release
line's already like cool as like when they released it, but just like working with your commander so well is also insane.
The release of a common in TMNT made it go, cool. My commander went from mana and board advantage to now it's a win con of the command zone and nobody even realizes it.
Yeah, I think the fact, like, especially, well, you mentioned that he's an artifact, and I just find it so funny that you can run Mishra's Workshop and it taps for 3 to pay for your commander. It's insane.
It makes the deck a very consistent turn 2, turn 3 Iron Man. It's
Yeah.
very convenient.
Yeah, no, it's like absolutely insane. And then what is your third one? Third win con, I believe would
So-
be Chrome Dome.
Yes, my third win line in this is Chrome Dome. This is another line that requires KCI. So it's Chrome Dome. It will take Prize Statue and KCI. Ideally, you want 5 mana available, but realistically, with between Iron Man, the token generation, and by the time you get up to 4 artifacts to be able to, if you're going to naturally sack up to KCI, you'll have more than enough artifacts on the field to sack to KCI. Chrome Dome, KCI, and Prize Statue. Chrome Dome is other artifact creatures get +1/+0, and then its main aspect is, hey, for 5 mana, create a token copy of target artifact. And then you sack it at the beginning of the next end step, I do believe. That's what we're going to utilize and abuse. We're going to take that Prize Statue that whenever it enters or leaves the battlefield, it creates a treasure token. And KCI, its ability to go, hey, sack an artifact. What we'll do is we'll generate indefinite treasure tokens, which can pivot into indefinite artifacts. So between a imposter mech, a sculpting steel, a repurposing bay, tangle wire if we need it, whatever we need, we can go, cool, I'm going to have a Googleplex of whatever this artifact is. This will pivot me into a win.
Yeah, I feel like it's pretty hard to play the game when you put 400 tangle wires on people's upkeeps.
Yeah, and then it's cool. Your end step. I'm gonna sack all these tangle wires. I don't need them. I'll untap all my stuff. Or hey, I'm gonna make 13,000 to one rings and draw all my decks. And then I listen. You're a Ristic deck or you're a Breach deck. We're just going to cool. We'll make 1,001 sculpting steels, which will copy Bowmaster. Bowmaster will pin the table to death. We'll do that same thing with an imposter mech.
Yeah. Oh, and it's the same thing with like Vexing Ball, where you can make infinite Vexing Balls, draw your entire deck. Same with like Sewer Valence Cams, because you have infinite of them, and you can just sack them all because you have like infinite mana.
The only downside to the Chrome Dome line is it's not a win con in itself, which is unfortunate, but with the amount of artifacts and everything else that we have utilized in our deck, it is not difficult to go, cool, I'm going to find a win con, because worst case, if you somehow are able to set up this line before Iron Man attacks, or if you're able to make a duplicate trigger using Peter Parker's, Stronic, or Virtue of Knowledge, set up the combo second trigger cell in the stack, you can do infinite Iron Man triggers, which allows you to grab all your artifacts out of your deck.
Yeah, Jack, I don't know what to say. This deck's cool as hell.
Look, man, I'm not gonna lie. The more that I sit here and talk to you about this deck, makes me want to kind of like play the deck. To be honest, there's so many cool things you get to do. Anytime I see Prize Statue in a deck, I get a little bit more intrigued, just because like I saw it in every Dargo deck ever was playing it, and Dargo decks are cool. I'm excited to talk a little bit more about all the doubling effects like Sonic Resonator and Peter Parker's camera and stuff like that, but we'll definitely hold off until we get to the artifacts. But I think it might be time to jump into just the deck itself, talk about certain cards, why you're playing those cards, because I'm definitely intrigued to kind of get your thoughts on a couple of things. Now, let's jump into the creatures now, because you've got a couple of cool ones that I quite enjoy, so let's talk about those. Obviously, we've talked about Goblin Welder, but, pretty good card. Any artifact deck that I see that plays this card always seems to be doing problematic stuff with it, so...
The nice thing about Goblin Welder 2 is it doesn't specify you. It allows me to go, hey, that mag does a problem, but I have a Goblin Welder. Mag puts an activation on the stack, goes to untap their dwarf, universal dwarf. I go, no, the dwarf can go to the graveyard or whatever. Or somebody goes, hey, I'm going to cast here's a mana vault, but I have a Lotus Petal in the graveyard. Need the mana vault for whatever mana, a tithe or whatever next turn. Swap them. I just reduced your mana by 2.
Yeah, for sure. It's so funny that you mentioned like the Magda player because like we play against the Magda like every week, and he's a good friend of ours, Doug. And I'm for sure when I play this deck swapping his Universal Automaton for a Lotus Petal and watching him go, huh?
Oh yeah, no,
What do you
because the
mean?
moment, yeah, no, because he'll tap out all 5 treasures, sack all 5 treasures, go get this, have the
Yeah.
perfect amount to start the combo, and you go, in response, allow me to go, no.
And like anything to stop Magda is good because that deck is really good.
Oh, I've got a Tavesh player at my LGS, and when I tell you that Welder and Time Sieve is amazing to go, hey, no, thanks. You can just put that in your
Oh,
graveyard.
and it can eat the Agatha Soul Cauldron from the Sisay player who's trying to go through that combo. Okay, this card's cool.
Say
Okay.
not only the Agathas, but also the what is that card? The 7 drop that says they plays that does the same thing.
Oh, I don't play that. Chromatic Ori. That
Chromatic
card's that card
Ori.
that card's
Yeah,
bad. That card's
yeah.
bad.
So Chromatic Orrery, it's cool. Hey, you've got a Lotus Petal in your field, and you just tutored to say to get this. Yeah, let me just swap. Cool. It don't matter. Now you get a bunch of green that you can't do anything with. There you go.
Lady Octopus Inspired Inventor is actually like an interesting card, and I was like, oh, there has to be some type of combo, but I think it's just a value piece, right? You draw some cards, put some artifacts into play for free. It's pretty good.
Yeah. So Lady Octopus is a instant speed. Put an artifact into the field. It's not restricted by timing restrictions or anything like that. It is a part of the ability to go, cool, cast this card. You could choose not to, but why would you do that? So that is for me, most of the time it is hey, I've got just an Iron Man and a esoteric on field. I'm not a threat. Don't look at me, leave me alone. Somebody goes to win through breach or something along the lines. Lady Octopus has 2 or 3 counters on it. Cool. Tap Lady Octopus. Here's an instant speed Grafdigger's Cage. Here's an instant speed Torpor Orb. Your uh, Thassus doesn't work. Hey, here's an instant speed Dampening Sphere. Your Cradle line that you were just about to set up no longer matters.
Yeah, no, I have lots of thoughts about this card. Like, as soon as it was released, I was like, I'm sure this card is really cool. And I looked at building it as a just like mono blue commander, like Artifact Matters deck for like quite a while. Just because it's like cool, it cheats on mana for artifacts, and like cool putting a One Ring on turn 3 for free is good. Yeah, just like instant speed stacks pieces is like really, really good. And I guess you can also just like wait and put like a 3-drop in on your end step, or like as you go to combat, you can put in a 3-drop and then sack it instantly to Iron Man on like the attack trigger and get KCI and kind of win the game that way. If it's like they'll put 3 counters on it, right? Yeah.
Yeah, as long as there's 3 counters. See, my crowning achievement with Lady Octopus is that I had like 7 or 8 counters on it because turn 1 Lady Octopus, turn 2 Fish, turn 4 Ristic, super sloggy game. I attack, but the go to combat before attackers are declared. This is if this resolves, I win the game kind of attack. Somebody will say use Iron Man. Cool, it's bounced back to hand. Well, since I haven't declared attacks, throw back in Iron Man because hey, cast right now. He has haste. Swing, would do something. Oh, can't. Cool, I won the game. Thanks.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of covered Chrome Dome already.
So with it being a 2-drop makes it really easy to be, while I can't use it as a stepping stone, it just kind of hurts because Iron Man doesn't let me sack artifact creatures. The fact that it's just, hey, a real quick 2-drop, that's a 1/3, so it's a big booty. Bowmaster isn't going to kill it off, and what's most people are going to cool, what are you going to do? Make another other artifact Iron Man gets slightly bigger because it can't even copy itself. So most people ignore it until it's like, oh, hey, here's another artifact, and then I'm just going to copy it. Now there's 2 Tangle Wires, there's 2 Dampening Spheres, or something along those lines where it's, oh, this is a problem. It's like, yeah, not my problem though. Congratulations.
Yeah, also just like thinking is like you run for Phyrexian Metamorph, so it's actually like a with Prize Statue, you have infinite Phyrexian Metamorphs, so you have infinite hasted artifact creatures, right? And you can
Yeah,
just kill the board with that.
yeah, it's like my own little make at home uh, dual caster line, which is great. I have to say though, Chrome Dome originally the whole reason I put a Chrome Dome in originally is I was on Academy Manufacturer. And as nice as
Yeah.
what that is, because I'd make all three with Iron Man and continue with another KCI line with Nuka Cola, everybody and their dog knows Academy's a problem. Chrome Dome, people are sitting here going, well, you can't copy Iron Man because it's legendary. What are you going to do? And then they ignore it. Then all of a sudden it's a problem and I'm winning and they don't have removal.
Yeah, definitely. I think just like the Brewers' advantage of playing these like strange new cards, especially that no one knows what they do yet, is just like such like you just people don't know what they do, so it like it feels bad to waste a counter spell on this 2-drop 1/3 artifact that looks like it costs 5 mana to activate.
Yet not knowing that, yeah, for me, it's essentially a free activation because, all right, cool, I've got a bunch of treasures that I don't care about.
Yeah, absolutely. It's also like something that I didn't mention is this deck is very heavy Brewer's advantage. Like you sit down, you see like a Timnacrom, you see a Sisay, you see like a Rogsite, and then there's Iron Man. They're probably going to be a little bit more stressed about the other three decks more than your deck. I know that I put three of the best decks in the format versus Iron Man as an example, but the point being is that everyone knows what those decks do, where you have the advantage of people not really knowing what this deck does. So if you go like Land, Soul Ring, Chrome Dome, they're not going to care too much, which is great for you. So that is something to note as well.
Oh yeah, no, the Brewers' advantage with the fact that I 110% am playing a fringe deck. It's a deck that people are gonna go, what does he do again? Oh, okay, so he's a pod. I'm not really all too concerned about that. Whatever. It allows me to, or I'm not worried about getting Iron Man countered all that often. I'm not worried about a lot of my spells getting countered that aren't very known. Like, yeah, my um Gamble's a lot more likely to get countered than what Iron Man is, or my KCI will get countered because everybody knows what that is, but my Chrome Dome, my Ignis Nexus, my other win cons are going, all right, cool, this is just a stacks piece or a value piece, not knowing that, yeah, this is part A, I have part B in hand, and part C is just one Iron Man to check away.
Fairy Mastermind, is this more just a draw advantage in your deck rather than like a combo piece, right? Because a lot of the time when you see Fairy Mastermind, it's usually a card advantage, of course, but it's also like sometimes a win condition. I haven't seen it, but you're not playing the infinite draw XX or whatever. It's X double blue, draw that many cards or whatever. You're not playing that to like shuffle this in or anything.
No, this is, to be honest, Fairy Mastermind's more of a test. It's more of a, hey, Chrome Dome is an infinite outlet. There's Goblin Welder's another infinite mana outlet. So this allows me to go, hey, for 4 mana, everybody draws a card. I don't have to draw everybody out. I just have to draw until I find another piece that I need that allows me to go, cool, I can ignore everybody else. I don't have to give y'all cards anymore. I have what I need.
That's sick, awesome. And then Goblin Engineer. Usually kind of comboed with Goblin Welder. If you see one, you see the other. Is there any particular card that you're getting with Engineer that like starts loop super easily, or is it just there to make your life a lot easier?
Well, Engineer will go infinite the same way Welder does with um Sewer Cam, but you have to run it with um Price Statue, and you can do the infinite swap. Generally, make a lot more mana doing the same thing. It's more of just is there mostly as a value piece. 9 times out of 10, if I when I cast Welder and whatnot, I'm either grabbing a win con, whether that be Chrome Dome, whether that be esoteric, or I'm grabbing a stacks piece that I can go, cool, next turn I'm getting this on field, or if I have something that allows me to pull an artifact in the graveyard, I'm drawing what I need in to pull it out.
Awesome. Washi Tongue Librarian is. I mean, this is just a draw your deck card, I guess, as well, right? You make infinite mana, you have this in your hand, you can just cast it and draw your entire deck, but also just like good card advantage, good attacker. This card's pretty good.
Yeah, no, it's same kind of ordeal. It's this one's purely I have the card advantage. If with infinite mana I draw my deck. So yeah, this is just purely advantage. Another kind of mini heuristic with the amount of decks that are searching in their libraries, especially in cEDH. And then if I have it in hand with infinite mana, I draw my deck.
Mm-hmm. Oh, awesome. Moving on to possibly one of my favorite casual cards, Treasure Nabber. For those that don't know, because probably no one does, Whenever an opponent taps an artifact for mana, gain control of that artifact until end of your next turn. It's 2 in a red. It's a Goblin Pirate. It's a 3/2. I like this card a lot in casual. So give us kind of the breakdown on why you're playing this one. I know like it's kind of funny to steal someone's like the One Ring and then attack with Iron Man and sacrifice it. That's kind of fun. But is there any other pieces to it or?
Well, it primarily it's that, but also it's a stack space because they realize that if I have Treasure Number down with Iron Man, I'm eating one of their artifacts. So not only am I limiting them on the amount of artifacts that they're willing to tap down and give me, but I'm also going to permanently remove one of their artifacts from field, whether that's Mox Opal, a Chrome Mox. Most of the time, ironically, I am giving Mana Vault, and I am excited to get a Mana Vault because, yeah, I will take that 1 life, turn it into a 2-drop, and now I have a Dampening Sphere. Now I have a Chrome Dome. Now I have something that goes, hey, you can't play the game as fast as what you want to, which means I get ahead.
Yeah, I think it's like such a cool inclusion. I think this card with like the ability to sack the artifacts is like really, really cool. And especially, yeah, just like being a pod, so it's like all the 1-drops that you would sack to like your deck, so you can turn your own Mana Vault into something. Why would I turn your own Mana Vault into something when I can turn someone else's Mana Vault into like whatever I want, or like their One Ring, or like a Grim Monolith into like an Esoteric, and just like win the game.
That and the fun thing is that if I have Treasure Never down and I'm able to get out KCI and Esoteric, cool. Every artifact you give me, I will sacrifice and I will get a copy of it on the next end step. Not my next end step, the next end step. So cool. The artifacts that you just gave me are now my untapped artifacts on field.
This deck's cool, man.
Yeah,
This deck's
that
really
seems
sick.
funny. Just steal all their artifacts and go, yeah, thanks for the mana.
No, this is sick. So next card is Phyrexian Metamorph.
It's Phyrexian's a little bit better of a sculpting steel, in my opinion. It costs a little bit more, but the 2 life or cheating it out with Iron Man makes it it makes it easy. Either just as much as sculpting steel if casting from hand, or I'm cheating it out with Iron Man. But the fact that it can become a copy of Bowmaster or another artifact on field makes my life a lot easier. Between cool, you've got a cannon, I've got a crap ton of treasures. Let me start spinning and doing what I want, or you have Thrasios, let me draw my deck. Or hey, that's a 1 ring. I'd like a 1 ring. Let me get one. Just or my own artifact that I would like is a copy of Chrome Dome. Hey, now I have an outlet for infinite attack triggers or infinite creatures to attack with. Cool. Here's an indefinite amount of what I want.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say, as an Atali pilot, play more clones. You should put more clones in your deck.
Yeah, this is ironically Metamorph was a difficult include over Sculpting Steel because I already do run Phyrexian Metamorph. Sorry, not Phyrexian, Imposter Mech. Imposter Mech doesn't let an Itali player get another Itali because it says, hey, grab an opponent creature. But
Yeah.
there are times when I need a certain artifact copied or a certain creature copied that if I could turn it into an artifact, that would be amazing, but it's on my field or something along those lines.
Yeah, no, the card's really, really good. It's like it's never like dead in hand really, because there's like always something in cEDH you can copy and do something with.
Well, a cheat with both Phyrexian Metamorph and Imposter Mech is that Imposter Mech does not become a creature. It stays an artifact, which doesn't limit Iron Man's ability. And with Phyrexian Metamorph, as long as I copy an artifact and it doesn't become a creature, I can still eat it with Iron Man. That means that I can use both cards as a, hey, here's a 2-drop, here's a 4-drop, at least if I'm cheating it with Iron Man, and I can turn it into whatever CMC is on the field that I need. Cool, this 2-drop, but I need a 4-drop right now to go get my Ugin's Nexus because KCI is currently in hand, and somebody's got a counterspell that they've already shown, something along those lines. Cool, I can get a 2-drop. Nobody's expecting a problem that I have a 2-drop. Now all of a sudden I have a 4-drop. I can use that paired with another artifact pod, whether that's for Purpose and Bay, the next turn Iron Man attack. Now I have a 4-drop that turns into something else. The fact that it can copy something, change its own CMC, and then I can abuse that makes my life a lot easier.
Yeah, for sure. Super, super cool.
Yeah, I mean, I have no notes for a lot of these creatures. It makes a lot of sense why you're playing them, and they all kind of have their own piece to winning the game, which is super sick. And again, any deck that can play Treasure Nabber, all for. I think that card's real fun. Moving on to your sorceries, we can kind of smash them out real quick because a lot of them are just probably tutors. From as I can see them, you obviously have Gamble, which is just search your library for a card at random. Search for a card from your library and then you discard at random, which is pretty nice.
Red and Tomb, baby.
Yeah, absolutely. We have Reshape, which is as additional cost to play Reshape, sacrifice an artifact, search your library for an artifact card with converted mana cost X or less, and put it into play, then shuffle. This is just better than the other one that's available, right? What's the one that most cannons play? I can't. Is it triple X blue or something? Inspire. I don't know what it's called.
Whir of Invention. It's an
Yeah,
instant speed one.
So I run War of Invention, but this is essentially what like a Court of Calling, but for artifacts.
Sure.
Yeah, I think just like the other difference, sorry, for this card is like I guess not really in this deck because you're not affected by it, but like when I was running Shurikai and like running Dampening Sphere, is you just like sack the Dampening Sphere to this and get whatever you want, like it doesn't matter, and just like win the game, like with your whole Breaker Horror loop. But you just like sit on the stack space until like you just want to get rid of it without like any counter magic. Like if it's stopping you, you can just take it off the board just by tapping 2 blue, like X equals 0, who cares? But I don't think like many of the stacks pieces like affect you that much that you play, so.
No, 90% of my stacks, as long as I can get Iron Man untapped, I can ignore it.
Awesome. Transmute Artifact. I'm not even going to try and explain how this card works because every time I try to explain it, it's always wrong. You can basically sacrifice an artifact to search for an artifact, and then you're going to pay the cost of the artifact if it's more, something like that.
Yeah, so
you pay the difference.
You sack an artifact, we'll say that it's a 2-drop. You go find a 4-drop, you have to pay 2 mana as the difference, but if you find a 2-drop or less, you don't owe anything. It's equivalent exchange, essentially.
Gotcha. That makes sense. And then Fabricate. Search your library for an artifact. It sounds like you like getting artifacts for some reason. I couldn't
It's almost as if.
Yeah, almost as if it's an artifact deck. But no, very cool, very tight sorcery package. We like these types of sorcery packages. You know what I'm saying? I play 2 in CySA, you play 4 in this. Makes a lot of sense. Tezzeret, Cruel Captain, is the only planeswalker that most decks play these days, I guess. I really do like Tezzeret. This card is just becoming more and more powerful the more silly artifacts that they print. And yeah, tell us a little bit about it.
Oh, dude. So, right off the rip, this is a turn 1 land, mana vault, as a red, untap the mana vault. It makes it about as free as it can get. It doesn't have realistically a +1 ability, so you don't. Its uptick is purely just a +0 on tap an artifact or a creature. Realistically, I use that, or then make 3 go search for a 0-drop or 1-drop, which is it's 1 or less, which is super relevant as the only thing I can't get in Iron Man are 0-drops, which means getting my LED, my Mox Opal, whatever 0-drop that I'm after, so much easier. But also, every time that I attack with Iron Man, he will go up 2 loyalty, regardless. It's make the artifact, sack it, go get another artifact. Tezzeret doesn't care if you cast it; it just cares if it enters the battlefield. So every turn, regardless of what I do, if I just attack, he goes up by 2. His ultimate, for the most part, is ignored, but it has become relevant in games where it's turned into a slogfest. Where cool, the only thing that anybody is able to do is attack. Make 7 Tezzeret. All of a sudden, Iron Man's now a 7/7. I've put everybody on a 3-turn clock. The next turn, he's in an 11/11 or a 10/10. Cool. I've put people on a 2-turn clock, and it progressively gets larger, and it makes it where we go, cool, Iron Man's a threat, but we can't do anything about it.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this. That's the first time I've ever heard anyone ever say they've activated Tezzeret's ultimate in the entire time I've read this card.
Well, when I can get Tezzeret up to 18 loyalty by turn 2,
yeah,
it's kind of hard to be like, well, it's not like he's going to be in risk of Bowmaster range, so I might as well.
To be honest with you, I forgot that this thing had an ultimate. Most planeswalkers you never activate. You might be the only person who's ever activated the Tezzeret's ultimate.
Yeah. I think just
Yeah.
like, I don't know, just thinking of like lines with this card is like, yeah, you like turn 1 Vault into like turn 2 Iron Man into turn 3, you just like find Peter Parker's camera and double the trigger for Iron Man on like your attack on turn 3 and win the game. I'm not
Oh,
sure
it's not.
exactly, but like,
Oh yeah, no. The fact that I can go, hey, turn 1 Volt into Tezzeret if I choose not to untap the Volt. I can make 3, go get a Peter Parker's camera. I can go get a Soul Ring. I can go get whatever I need. Cool. Cast that artifact. Tezzeret goes up by 1. If I'm getting a Soul Ring or Peter Parker's, realistically, I will have another artifact in hand, LED, Mox Opal, Lotus Petal, whatever. Cast another artifact, Tezzeret goes back up. Hey, now, cool, I just gained up 3 loyalty. He's neutral back up to 4, no longer a concern for Bowmaster. Or it's, hey, turn 1, Volt, Tezzeret, neg 3 him, go get Vexing Bubble, do my pedal, sack the pedal, Vexing Bubble, turn 1, seat 1, screwed everybody else's turn.
yeah, no, we
This-
hate Vexing. I hate Vexing Wall. That
Oh,
card
you hate
sucks.
Vexing Bubble.
Ban it.
No, the card's good, man. Even I, as someone who doesn't care about Vexing Bubble, card's good. Card's good, man. We keep that in there. We keep it in there. But no, I think Tezzeret's such a really cool Planeswalker, and I think Iron Man's the perfect example of taking something that is very calm and collective and jacking it up to 11 and doing some really cool stuff with it. I mean, you're activating its loyalty ability to and then beating face with your commander, which is sick, right? We love that. So definitely a really cool Planeswalker. Moving on to the instants and sorceries. I'm going to say this right now as someone who searches their library deck. I can see some stuff and I understand why. Pact of Negation, obviously just a really good counter spell. Not much to touch base with there. Flusterstorm, really good. I respect the art. We love this art. I like it a lot. And then, as I said, moving on to possibly the obvious card is this to kill opposition agent.
You can hit opposition, Dranith, Avian Mind Sensor, anything that says, hey, restrict the tutor ability, we don't like that. Or somebody goes, hey, I'm going to Necro to 3, and I'm going to go, no.
Yeah, no, also the fact that you're running the Iron Man art and it's just so cool.
Listen, arguably the best art for Galvanic Blast, just saying.
I couldn't agree more with that, to be honest. I really do think it's good thematic themes. Into the Floodmore, just a really good bounce spell, to be honest. I don't like leaving the house without Into the Floodmore. This thing's so versatile. Again, like hits the opposition agent and all those cards that you don't like, but let's say that you want to get rid of a Smothering Tithe or something, or basically anything really. You can just be like, you're not having that. Here's a tap fish that does nothing for anyone ever, which is great.
Yeah, the Floodmaw is absolutely busted. Honestly, it's when it got printed, it immediately replaced Chain because as much as I enjoyed Chain of Vapor, how many times I've seen it used back on me is more than I'd like to admit. So this going, hey, I don't like that, take it back, and you don't get to copy it is so nice.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I also have to give you credit for playing this Lightning Bolt. I love this Lightning Bolt art. I think it's really sick. Same thing as the blast as well. You kind of just remove all those stacks pieces you don't want to have to deal with that stop you from searching your library. And then it kills a Necro player or it kills an Ad Nauseam player, which is super important as well. Something that I haven't seen for probably like 2 years almost, maybe a year and a half, is March of the Swirling Mist. This card was played really heavily for a long time and then just disappeared. For those that don't know, it's a X and blue for an instant. As additional cost to cast this spell, you may exile any number of blue cards from your hand. This spell's cost generic to less for each exiled this way, and then up to X target creatures phase out. So basically, kind of just a really good way to not lose your board or get rid of stuff on the board.
Yeah, exactly that. It's used as both, hey, I don't want the Dranith, but you are next in turn order. I don't want the Dranith because I want to cast my Iron Man, but I don't want Blue Farm to have their cards or Kennen to get their card out. So I'm just going to essentially try to flicker the Oppo, the Dranith, the whatever to go, cool, I got what I need. pass the turn, or I don't really want my Iron Man destroyed or exiled or something along those lines. Phase it out because it's don't need him right now. Just need him on my turn.
Nah, sick. Mental Misstep. I give you credit for playing this art. I do like this art. It's good. I like Mental Misstep. Mystical Tutor. Pretty straightforward. Search your library for a sorcery and instant. Put it on top of your library, then shuffle. This one you're gonna have to not explain. I guess we can kind of understand it. This is a target creature you control gets ++1 and gains hexproof until end of turn. Untap it. Is this just protection for your commander?
Yeah, it's protection, or there's been times where somebody's swung at me with a swinging at Timna or something along those lines while Iron Man's tap. This is an instant speed, untap, and block. So A, I'm rejecting your draw, and B, I'm killing off your commander or something along those lines.
Yeah, it's like I think this effect's like really, really good. And like you play it like think of it just like it's slightly worse than Legolas's quick reflexes like you do in CIS8, right? It doesn't have split second, but yet just like 1 mana protection is good, right? It's like nearly a swap for a bounce. It's like the same as like using like a redirect lightning to protect Iron Man from like a bounce spell or a kill spell.
Yeah, no, I assumed that it was more of a protection spell, but you know how like sometimes like in Legolas's quick reflexes, right? I can use it to protect Sisse, but I can also at instant speed, uninteractably untap a Savala or something. I wasn't sure if there was like an extra little spicy piece of tech within it. But no, that makes perfect sense, right? I mean, being able to block a
It
Timna is
like
always
probably
huge.
works with like one of the goblins. I'm sure like there's I don't know if there's ever
Yeah,
been a time where you
so
need like another goblin activation, but like I'm sure it works with that, right?
well, yes, it'll work with the Goblin. Ironically, as you bring that up, there have been games where I activate Goblin Welder. Part of the activation is to tap it. Somebody goes to respond by destroying them or something along those lines. In response, activate Octopus Form. Do the same activation on top of everything when on top of the stack. It will also work with Lady Octopus of cool, I've put one stack space down, but I put the Graph Diggers that stopped the blue farm and doing their breach line. But now Kennan's about to win, so untap Lady Octopus, flash in a Curse Totem, and allow me to essentially survive that rotation, which allows me to get to my turn and win the game.
This is Pongify, yeah. This is the silver border
Yeah.
Pongify. I love these silver borders, man. They're sick.
Yeah, no, Pongify essentially just replaced rapid hibernization as a meta change, purely because instead of giving a, what is it, lizard folk or whatever it was that had Rapper does, that is able to untap with, um, what, Valley Flood Caller. So,
Phelan
Oh.
Caller, yeah.
yeah, so that was purely a meta change of like, hey, the same CMC, same effect, just one turns into an ape, one turns into a frog lizard. Let me do this change, and then the reprint with Strixhaven was too good to pass up.
Bro, unironically, huge meta tech. Like, I know that's so small, but that's crazy meta tech, actually. Being able to, like, I didn't even think about it till, like, right now when you're explaining it. That you can't, like, if you have a cannon, you kill something. Now you've given them, like, extra mana if they have enduring vitality and flood call
Yeah.
out. It's crazy. That's actually crazy.
Yeah.
Holy moly.
That's ironically one of the hardest things about this deck is constantly keeping up with the meta and going either major changes like removing a null rod from early iterations to simple changes from Pongify, from rapid urbanization to Pongify. Major changes, little changes all have to evolve this deck to keep up with the tempo control that I do.
You're playing both Blast, Pyro, and Red Blast. I mean, you're so low in color count that it makes kind of sense to be playing both. Redirect Lightning. I don't know why more people aren't playing this card. I feel like this card's really good. It's a 1 mana 5 life deflecting sword. I know a lot of those decks are playing like Necro and Ad Nauseam and stuff like that, but I still feel like this card's way too good not to be playing.
Well, to be fair, most red decks that are running cards like this are also in black, so they're going to be running low CMC, ROG size, stuff like that. That are go cool. The 5 life is detrimental at times. Where for me, I could care less about my life. Cool, I'll pay the 5 1 drop, taken care of.
Yeah, couldn't agree
Yeah,
with
no,
you
I
more.
think this card's good. Right. What's so hard to interact with compared to like a counter spell sometimes, especially with like the rise of like hexing squelcher is Like they try and counterspell something with the hexing scorcher, and you're like, cool, I'll just swat it instead. Like it doesn't matter. Like I can't counter it, but here's a swat. And they go, yeah, okay, cool. I'll cry.
Pretty much.
Swan Song, just a good counter spell. Psychonic Rift, yeah, it's good. I've been off Psychonic Rift as of late, but I guess in this like mid range control list or whatever you're kind of trying to do, it kind of makes a lot of sense, especially if you're playing the long game and you're like, cool, just Psychonic Rift everything. Especially if you're like making infinite mana and everything, you just want to make your life easier. You like Psychonic Rift everything. So yeah, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
it's Rift is one of those cool. It's either a 2 mana removal, which is obvious, or with the fact that Iron Man makes me mana, getting up to that 7 and having it available is not as difficult as what it sounds on paper. So it's an easier card for me to justify than a lot of other decks that aren't essentially running some variation of Cradle.
Yeah, absolutely. This is Days, I think. I think this is Days.
Yes.
Yeah, I like Days. Days is good, especially like you said, you can make a lot of mana pretty easily. So bouncing a land into your hand isn't super problematic, especially in the early game when you have so many artifacts and so many of them make you mana. You're probably not too worried about this being like down a land or whatever.
No, yeah, pretty much. I'm not concerned about going down land and having another essentially free counter spell to go, hey, this hits everything on the board as long as you don't have the mana. Super convenient. It's a test card at the moment, but so far I am falling in love with the interaction with it.
No, awesome. You're also running Snap. I guess this is just a really good like cantrip for you, right? Not a cantrip, I guess, but more of like a bounce something, untap those lands, and you're kind of getting value that way. There's no like infinite outlet or anything with this, is there?
No, but being able to abuse Misha's Workshop and get up to 5-6 mana to cast it in his Nexus turn 1, turn 2 is really nice when it's cool. There's 2 turbo decks and a mid range that can go turbo. I know that all of these decks typically run extra spell turns. Cool. I can turn 2, snap a Rog Rack or whatever I don't want on field, float some mana because of Misha's Workshop test for 3. Cool. Here's 6 mana for a Ugin's Nexus that will sit here until I need it. Here's a Windcut on board that acts as sack space until I need it.
That makes a lot of sense. I'm muting myself because I'm sick at the moment, so I don't want to like cough into the microphone while you're talking. I let out this physical groan of course, the Mistress Workshop. No, it makes so much sense that you're playing this for sure. Yeah. No, that makes so much sense.
Well, it kind of helps when half my deck is an artifact. Misha
Yeah.
Workshop kind of goes burr, so anything that can untap it makes it so much easier.
And then just like really good commander staple counter spells, deflecting swat, fierce guardianship, force and negation. You're 2 colors and you're playing a wide variety of blue cards, so it kind of makes sense. So you can throw this in. Sink into Stupor, really good, like land and decent bounce spell, like 1 and 2 blue to either put something back into someone's hand or get it off the stack, which is always great. And then War of Invention. This is my favorite art. I think it's really, really silly, but also really just like fun. This is the card I was talking about before. This is the improvise. You can tap artifacts to search for an artifact in your library, which is great. I think it's really powerful. Being able to do stuff at instant speed has been great lately.
War of Invention in an artifact pod deck where I do nothing but generate treasure tokens, which just so happen to be an artifact.
Mm-hmm.
I grab artifacts out of my bin, or not out of my bin, out of my library. My commander's an artifact. I run artifact lands, creatures, just about everything that I have in this deck that is a permanent is an artifact in some manner or another. So the fact that I'm like, cool, I don't have the ability, or I just resolved Iron Man's attack to go get this piece. I have A plus B, but I need C. War of Invention. Cool. I've got extra treasure tokens. I've got extra this. I've got the mana for it. Cool. Instant speed, end step. Cool. Here's this. It's my end step. It's the most convenient time for me because most people are going to go, yeah, what's he going to get in his end step? The turn's over. It's whatever. And it's, oh, yeah, by the way, this resolved. I'm winning the game. Thanks. Bye.
Nah, sick, awesome. Yeah, I think this card's great. It's also like super threatening most of the time. So yeah, for sure. Mindbreak Trap, can't really leave the house without a Mindbreak Trap, especially with Atali at the moment.
Not in this meta.
It just won the big 10K event.
Oh yeah, no, not this meta. This
No, oh,
Mind
okay.
Break is more important, especially with Hex and Squelcher that you were talking about earlier. Mind Break is now the new MVP. I think it's almost. I'd cut a Force of Will before I cut a Mind Break.
Yeah,
Ooh.
my trap is ridiculous. This card is so good. And ban it.
Scour for scraps is a card that isn't seeing a lot of play, but the decks that play it are able to really abuse it in a way. All right, I see a lot of Cannon decks use this because if their Assault Monolith gets like countered or whatever, they can bring it back or they can go search for it. I think it's really sick.
Yeah, Scour for Scrap. This is one of those cards that pairs with Goblin Engineer or Iron Man in general, where it's cool. This card that I needed, KCI, Academy, Chrome Dome, you name the artifact. Cool, this got countered, blown up, sacrificed to my own effect because I had, I was like, cool, as much as I don't want to, I need to go get this piece, and the only thing that I can sack is this Wincon. So I'll go sack the Esoteric, go get a 4-drop that's relevant, or I'll sack Price Statue, go get a 3-drop that is relevant, like a Tangle Wire or something along those lines, slow the table down so I'm able to have another turn. This makes it where, cool, the piece that I sacrificed, the piece that got countered, so on and so forth goes, this is back in my hand. It's not out of the game. I'm not worried about it because I don't have Welder or Engineer on field. I can get this back. This is still viable for me.
And then last but not least, we have Force of Will. Couple of things. Well, one thing, I guess, maybe two things. I'm just curious because a lot of decks at the moment are playing both Misdirection and Commandeer, and I'm curious to why you may not be playing them. Just because I know that like you're very low in mana color, like very low in colors, but you're very high in blue cards. I just wanted to get your thoughts on why you weren't playing those. If it's a personal choice, you're not interested in it, just don't have the room. What was that type of choice?
Commandeer for me, just for my play style, feels like a bad card because either I'm getting rid of a bounce spell or something along those lines, whether it be Into the Flood mod, Octopus Form, Sink in a Stupor, something along those lines. That's for me more important than just I'm going to steal this Ristic. I don't really care for the Ristic. I've built this deck to fly under Ristic, so I'm going to try not to feed it in the first place. I don't need one. So Commandeer for me is not really worth it because realistically, what am I going to get rid of? A tutor or interaction? Opposition agents much more terrifying when I have a tutor in the command zone. And then misdirection is just haven't tested it yet, haven't played with it, want to see how the newest iterations are feeling for me at the moment. Like Days is still new, still playing with that. Sinking the Stupor still new, still playing with that. Just kind of seeing how it feels. And another 5-drop feels bad. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. I think that you made some really great points there. The Commandeer is a great example of that for sure. Um, okay, now jumping into the meat and potatoes of this deck, the 31 artifacts. So yeah, let's jump in. Pretty basic at the start here, I guess. Right, you got your Chromox, your LED. I guess like maybe LED without Underworld Breach, which we'll get into in a minute. Is probably just what to cast in early Iron Man if you mulligan super low, right?
Yeah, so it's a mix of both casting Iron Man early, and then it also puts an artifact in my bin. So if I have Welder on field, it I'm able to start the combo off. I'm able
Mm-hmm.
to start the loop because LED, and who's going to counter an LED so I can turn on my Mox Opal.
Fair enough. Um, we have Lotus Petal, pretty good card. Mox Diamond, pretty good card. uh, Mox Opal, pretty good card. Amulet of Vigor is a huge tech piece that when you like put the pieces together, you go, "Oh, I should have counted this card." We'll go back to Iron Man really quickly. They enter tapped. They enter the battlefield tapped. So Amulet of Vigor basically goes, actually, no, they don't, which is super sick. That's all it's for, right? I'm assuming there's no other like
Yeah.
little spicy
Well,
pieces or anything.
kind of. So the main use of it is yes, I'm going to grab it early on with Iron Man or Tezzeret to go cool. My stuff comes then on tap, so that way if I get an artifact, Man of Rock, it's not useless to me for that turn. However, the number one card that I refuse to get unless I know that is on field is Storage Matrix. Storage Matrix is a lot like 3 ball and going, hey, it does nothing if it's tapped, but if it's untapped, the table is in trouble, and I get to laugh because I just say artifact, and almost everything untaps for me, and everybody else is going, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do?
That's yeah. What do I do? That's cool. That is really cool. Um,
Yeah, no, it's just like, yeah, like, what do I do is cool. Like, all my dorks are tapped, or all my lands are tapped. This sucks.
Probably the worst card in this deck, Grafdigger's Cage. Couldn't think of
Arguably the best.
pretty bad. Creatures in libraries and graveyards can't enter the battlefield. For anyone that couldn't figure that one out, it's because to say. But then also players can't cast spells from their graveyard or library. We like that for Underworld Breach reasons. I do like your choice of art as well. I really do like this one. I think it's great.
Oh yeah, no, this is absolutely best art, hands down. The only downside to Graph Diggers is that it makes it where I can't go get Chrome Dome, which sucks. But if I'm in a situation where I need Chrome Dome, I'll sack the Graph Diggers to go get Chrome Dome, as one will turn into two. I think. Hold on, I might have to go back to school, but I believe that's how that works.
No, I think it's actually super spicy tech. I think it's great that you can I'm gonna win now. Let me get rid of Cage and go get Chrome Dome. I think it's actually super sick.
Yeah, it's like, I also just like want to jump in. It's like, yeah, when you're in like a turbo pod and it's like, cool, I didn't keep a hand of interaction, but I have like a turn 1 or turn 2 Iron Man. It's just like sack the treasure, turn it into Graph Digger's Cage, and kind of cook like the Rogside player.
Well,
It's like,
yeah,
yeah,
I
you don't have
mean,
a counter spell for them, but you can turn the treasure into stop their entire Underworld Breach plan.
well, the nice thing is that it not only stops the Rock side, cool, I shut down the Turbo player, and if they weren't already solely going for Oracle, now they have to pivot whatever game plan, whatever their entire turn one was set up to do, to pivot into trying to go get Thoracle if they're still trying to go for an early win. But this also shuts off Magda, this shuts off Kennen, this shuts off Sisay. It
Yeah,
shuts off
I
a
think the
lot
thing
of the
that,
meta decks, which most people don't realize how many decks this hits.
yeah, all these like X green tutors that just like put a creature into play, like they just
Yeah, I
don't work,
basically say that green's not allowed to play the game anymore, and it's great.
which we love because banking and
Yeah, ban. I'm for it. Ban Kennen. I'm for it. I'm all for it for sure.
and then like the kind of other piece for this is like you can find it on Urza Saga as well, which is kind of funny. You can just
Oh yeah,
cool, I'm
Urza
gonna
Saga,
uncounterably
Tezzeret.
put drafting
It's
is yeah.
Yeah, the one drops, one and zeros make my life so much easier, especially with the Tezzeret. As much as I am hyping him up, he's an absolutely busted card for me. Graph Diggers to just about any other 1 or 0 drop makes it go cool. Iron Man went to go get this, or I don't even have Iron Man out yet, but I have a Tezzeret. Kennen's already out on field. Rogside's doing Rogside things. Let me just Graph Diggers. I can sandbag a turn instead of casting Iron Man. I'll get a Graph Diggers. But now I am guaranteed probably 1, if not 2 turns where I can get out Iron Man and I can continue to set up my own win or another stacks piece to go, cool, I've shut the table down for a turn or two. That's enough for me to break parity and get ahead.
Mana Vault. Probably. I'll talk about this card for a hot minute. It's busted. Just in your deck for sure, right? Being able to cast Tezzeret and untap him, being able to cast Iron Man a lot easier. Like turn 2, right? You go like Island, Mana Vault, Mountain, cast Iron Man, sacrifice it, go get a 2-drop. Like we'll talk about in a minute. You're also comboing with not comboing, but like Mana Folky. It does the same thing as Tezzeret, which is super great. This thing is also super great for when you're playing in a very heavy flying pod, as I guess if we'll call it, because you can pay 3 and make Iron Man unblockable, which is not nothing. It is helpful, I guess, as well.
Yeah, there's with the popularity explosion of like semi-blue, of these weird off hinges of meta decks, which is awesome to see. I'll see a lot more things with reach or flying or like a consecrated sphinx. They'll always throw a consecrated sphinx or something along those lines in front of an Iron Man. It's cool. I'll kill it. Well, I don't need the mana. I just need the attack trigger. Let me unblockable, finish this off, get what I need, continue on my day.
One of my favorite cards from last year, Peter Parker's camera. One of the multiple doubling effects in this deck. You pay 2, remove a film counter from this artifact, copy targeted, activated, or triggered ability. You may choose new targets. It has 3 film counters. It probably doesn't matter how many film counters it has because you're probably winning the game with the first activation. It's sick. I like it a lot.
So yeah, this is, again, like you said, one of multiple copy effects that I have in this deck. And the nice thing is that pretty much every win that is in this deck revolves around a triggered or activated ability, whether that's Chrome Dome, that's Iron Man, or anything of that sort. It's cool. For Chrome Dome, instead of paying for 10 mana for 2 treasures, I can now go, cool, I'm going to pay 5 mana, eat a treasure token, copy the ability. The copy will make the thing of the prize statue, and the original can do Peter Parker's, which means, hey, here's another one that I can continue doing this. So instead of 10 mana, I'm doing it for 7. It's cheaper. I'm much more mana positive now. This also works with the welder lines, engineer. It turns engineer into something a lot more viable. It makes my life a lot easier. This and Stronic, which is the other artifact version of it, goes, hey, this is extreme synergy for my entire deck.
This card's really, really cool. And if it's ever on the board, it's super scary.
And the funny thing is that it's another one of those cool. It's another feel bad situation for countering it, especially early game where I'm not really worried about a Peter Parker's camera when Kennan's about to drop, or Blue Farm's about to drop to Timna. There's a lot more viable counter options than a 1-drop that's at the moment seems irrelevant.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'll blow up. I'll blow up Mental Misstep on a Peter Parker's camera any day. Well, I mean, I personally play it. I have played it in CSA, and I know how busted it is because I talked to our Magda player Doug, and we both agree this card's busted. So anytime I see it get cast, I'm like, I'll blow my Mental Misstep on this card.
No, the most terrifying version I've seen of this card is not even my own deck. I've seen an Itali player steal it from me and then just copy it.
Oh no!
His own Itali trigger. Like, oh, cool. One. Then he wins the game because of the copied effect. Like, damn it! I didn't need this to happen. Yeah. Wonderful. Thanks.
We kind of already covered this card in the beginning of the video, but I think we just call out again. Surveillance Cam, probably one of the most busted commons or uncommons that has been printed ever. Just such a powerhouse with the things that it's able to do for no reason at all.
Oh, but this, I mean, it's absolutely busted in my deck, but it's also like Urza. It's absolutely busted in Urza. This goes infinite with a ham sandwich in both mine and their deck. And to be honest, this is because of the fact that it's flash. I've seen it ran in CSA decks. I've seen it ran in just about anything that goes cool. I've seen Kennen run it, which is weird. Granted, wasn't ran for very long, but a 1-mana cool. I'm going to untap this Bloom Tender, untap this whatever creature of mine, or tap down something of yours that's irrelevant. Makes life a lot easier because it's either disruption or it's cool mana advantage, because spend 1, make 3 makes life so much more interesting.
I mean, Soul Ring. We don't have to cover why Soul Ring's good. It's basically Mana Crypt, and that card got banned, so they should ban this too.
Rocket card, ban
it. Vexing Bauble. It's really good, man. This card's like, I know that I'm gonna give the Itali player a bunch of grief here because it's counters spells that aren't cast with mana, but also like it's just really, I mean, turns off Rogsire, Mox Opal, Mox Amber. Turns off all the artifact mana rocks and stuff like that. And it can be searched through Urza Saga. I mean, 2 weeks ago, I was telling a story about how a turbo deck had an Urza Saga and then put this on the battlefield, and I went, oh, we're dead. So, yeah, it's just a very versatile, really good card.
And the fact that it's, A, it's sackable to itself, or B, it's able to be utilized in combos of mine makes it so much easier. Where it's like, cool, here's a something along the lines of, cool, I will disrupt the other people for 1 or 2 turns, and that's all I need. Or if he tells on field, I'll probably never eat a Vixen Bubble because they just need 1 turn and continue on my merry way where I can ignore it. My own 0 drops are essentially irrelevant as none of them on their own will win me the game.
Yeah, definitely. I have so many thoughts and feelings about this card. A lot of them are negative because they cook my main deck that I play, but also the fact that I just like think it's a good card, and more people are realizing it. That's like, it's not just index for Atali. It's like one of the best like on the play cards. If you have just like a turn one, just like land, rock, vexing bauble, pass, and the rock side goes, I can't cast my rock. I can't cast my 2 free rocks. I am out of the game for an entire turn. You slow them for like 2 turn cycles. You kind of sit on it until like you don't or like someone needs a free counter to stop something, and you're like, cool, I can sack it now. It's just like a good card, not just into Atali, but just like into the meta itself.
Yeah, it's a great card. Moving on to great cards, I actually feel like this was probably one of, if not the best, curse totem decks. Activated abilities of creatures can't be activated. You don't have a creature. You don't have a lot of creatures with activated abilities. Like your main commander doesn't have it, so it's really great. It does hurt you a little bit if you need the goblin stuff, but like you've said before, with other cards, you kind of just attack with Iron Man, get rid of it, get something else that will help you win the game. So that's super unique as well.
Yeah, no, this curse totem hurts me realistically in only one of 2 ways: Welder or Chromedome. Those are the only ways that it hurts me, and the fact that I have instant removal, or as needed removal in the command zone makes my life a lot easier, and it's cool. Turn one, here's a vault. Get out Iron Man. Turn two, Iron Man's out. Turn the vault into a curse totem. Now the Sisay screwed, the Kennen screwed, and the Rog Thras is screwed, or the TNT is screwed because all their dorks are now turned off and irrelevant, which is just about as good as playing a turn one Vexing Bubble because it's cool. All that mana that you spent to get out your dorks, all that additional mana that you thought you had is gone. Can't activate it, can't use it, can't play with it, and I ignore it.
Deafening Sphere is the next card in this array of beautiful artifacts. This card has continued to confuse everyone on how it works. But for those that don't know, if a land is tapped for 2 mana or more, it produces colors instead, any other type. And then each spell a player casts costs 1 more to cast. Each other spell that player casts this turn. So if you cast 1 spell, it's basically the same price, and then as it goes up, costs more. It's pretty cool. And I guess you get the benefit of you don't really care about casting your artifacts because you usually just tutor for them anyway. And this just stops the Cradle decks, which is very popular at the moment.
Well, that and do you realize how relevant it is to go, hey, your Ancient Tomb still hurts you for 2, but now you only get 1 mana out of it? Or, hey, your Cradle taps for 1 colorless. It doesn't matter if you got 13 creatures on the field. I don't care. Oh, hey, Vivi, you don't get to play the game. Cool.
Yeah, the anti-storm aspect of this card is ridiculous. I think just like kind of the only thing that it doesn't stop is natural Thassa's Decon. It costs 4 mana instead of 3. One of the only like win combos that people play that just like this doesn't affect.
More mana artifacts now. We have obviously Arcane Signet. I respect the Stark Tower. I never got one. I was one of the first people to get it, like the secret layer, and didn't get one.
I'm not gonna lie, I was only able to get the Iron Man secret layer, but a buddy of mine was able to get this Arcane Signet. Didn't really care for it, so I traded for it when it was like expensive, like over $100 expensive. Now it's like $7.
Oh, is it?
It's fine. It's worth it. I'll take it. I just, it's one of those Arcane Signets that I could not pass up not playing because why would I not have essentially the Avengers Tower or Stark's Tower in a Stark deck? I couldn't do it without the lore. It felt like a crime.
That makes sense. Makes sense. It's the same as like the Gartic Blast or whatever before, right? With the Iron Man on it. Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Felwar Stone, just another regular mana rock that's super helpful. Most decks are playing blue or red these days, so you kind of don't ever miss out on those colors, which is nice. Grim Monolith helps you cast Iron Man, but also can sacrifice it after you use it. Plus, you're playing like Manifold Key and the Tezzeret, so it's basically never tapped, which is super sweet as well.
Well, the nice thing is that while Vault turns into a Cursed Totem or something along those lines, or a Dampening Sphere, Grim Monolith turns into Esoteric Duplicator, or it turns into Tangle Wire, which is essentially early game Tangle Wire or early game Esoteric is cool. I'm winning the game. Like I'm pushing real hard. I'm winning the game, and this being able to get out early with either, you know, Ancient Tomb, a Soul Ring, or whatever goes cool. We use this, get out Iron Man, and then sack it, and immediately get a 3-drop, which the 3 drops are in the lines of cool. This is when I start to push for a win. Just accelerates my timeline, and it's essentially a ritual for me. It's cool. This turns into a stepping stone. It got out Iron Man. Now it's a stepping stone. I'm pushing really hard.
Nah, that makes sense. Imposter Mech, we've kind of covered from different things. It's very utilized clone piece here. Not only lets you clone for wins and stuff like that, but can also just be that available piece for whenever you need it. For like your Orcish Masters or cloning certain creatures for value, which is super sweet. Prize Statue, very fun card. Like I said earlier, if I ever see a deck with Prize Statue, it goes hard. I think this card's super sick. Very like just silly, great value. It basically is free when you let it enter, and when you sacrifice, it's basically free, which is super nice.
There's also the aspect of it being, even if it just turns into a stepping stone, because I've got, I have to turn it into something else for, like, I've got either in hand or just due to the board state or whatever, where it's easier for me to pivot when I'm on, or I need to go get a certain stacks piece or something along the lines. The fact that when it enters and leaves, generates me tokens makes it makes it where it's not a feels bad as using it as a stepping stone. Or cool, I'm getting value out of this. It bumps my Tezzeret, so this one artifact essentially bumps up Tezzeret by 3. It makes life easy for me.
Sonic Resonator, kind of the same concept as Peter Parker's camera, I'm guessing. Just lets you copy the triggered ability of something you control.
Yeah, the only difference is Peter's is a 1-drop and it has limitations on how many times you can activate it. This doesn't, so this paired with really any untap effect that I can duplicate or Chrome Dome or stuff along those lines, cool, I can indefinitely just keep going. Or with Amulet of Vigor, if I have extra mana floating, I can turn a 1-drop into Stronic. Amulet of Vigor will untap it, use the mana to double the ability on Iron Man, assuming I've already been able to copy it once. You essentially get a free tutor out of it. So now I go from Peter Parker's that I doubled. Peter's will turn into Stronic. Amulet will untap it. Use 2 mana to copy Iron Man's ability again. Stronic turns into Esoteric. Then Esoteric turns into KCI. Esoteric's ability goes on the stack. KCI enters. Esoteric tries to resolve. I use KCI to eat a treasure token. I get a copy of Esoteric. I just went from a 1-drop to Esoteric and KCI both on the field. I'm winning next turn, and I have protection for the turn that I'm off.
I like this.
Jack, I'm dizzy.
Yeah, I'm a little dizzy too, but
That's crazy.
The base, just about every artifact in this will have a base value of either slowing down my opponents or speeding myself up. And if I'm able to have the correct hand or have the correct setup or anything of that sort, I can go, yeah, cool. It's turn 2. I'm going to go get an Amulet of Vigor because I got out Iron Man. I'm cheating it up. Turn 3, Rux, I got stopped. Counter magic isn't really there. Cool. I've got a bunch of extra mana because I pretty much dumped my hand. I don't need to cast spells anymore. Cool. I have Vigor and I have Peter Parker's very rock and roll, and I've got 4 mana. Cool. Swing, Peter Parker's, double it. First activation, eat the Peters, grab Stronic, Stronic untaps, double Iron Man again. Cool. Now I've got Win on board, and if you try to interact with me, I'm just going to remove my board and put it back. Try to remove Iron Man. I don't need him to be my official commander. I just need his ability. Thank you.
Talisman of Creativity, just your average talisman. I guess you get to play it because you only need the one. I like talismans in low colored decks. I think they're very helpful. You have Torpor Orb, which kind of just cancels out any ETBs. It's super handy to go get. Again, you can sacrifice it to go and get your 3 mana rocks if you need to, or 3 mana artifacts, sorry, which is super handy. And then Winter Moon, just another fancy, fun stacks piece that you can get, and then you can sacrifice it when you don't need it. Slows down the table enough to where you can kind of set up your board state and win the game from there, which is super sweet. It's like you can turn your mana vault into it as well, which is super nice and handy if you can't, like a Vexing Warble or a Cage or anything like that. If you need a different stacks piece for whatever's going on, it's super unique and nice that way. And we have the Duplicator, the Esoteric Duplicator. This is like one of the big combo pieces here. This one's super unique and fun in artifact decks, and I think it's actually really sick. Just the way that it has so much utilization within the deck. Yeah. I actually don't know what this card is. This is just another birthing pod, but it's for artifacts, right?
Yeah, it's an artifact pod, yeah.
This is just Iron Man.
Gotcha. Oh, it is handy. You pay to sacrifice another artifact, search your library for an artifact with mana value equal to +1 the sacrifice. Yeah, it's basically Iron Man. The only downside, I guess, to this card is that you can only do it at sorcery speed, which I guess is fine. Either way, you can still do some fun stuff and whatnot. And then the dreaded storage matrix.
Dreaded. Listen, I don't know about dreaded. This is such a wonderful card. See, all you got to do is name artifacts, and you're golden. It's okay. The rest of the table's irrelevant. It's fine.
And then Tangle Wire. I only ever saw this played in Magda, so it's kind of nice to kind of see it make a comeback. It's also really great because it just like drastically slows down your opponents, and then all of a sudden you're like, cool, attack, get rid of it, win the game or whatever, which is super nice.
Yeah. Realistically, I have yet to really come across the game where if I'm able to turn 2 Tangle Wire, because realistically, turn 2 Tangle Wire is I'll have Iron Man, Tangle Wire, Treasure Token, and a land. Tangle Wire will go on the stack. I'll have the ability to down ticket, go off first, and then I'll have its tap, which means I'll tap the Tangle Wire, the Treasure Token, and the land, which leaves Iron Man, which means I can play whatever land I need, whatever other artifacts, and Iron Man's still untapped to go do what I need him to do. While everybody else is still struggling to deal with the initial 4-drop that I got to ignore the tap 4, and then the tap 3, which at that point, cool, it still hurts, but that's probably the extent of where I'm going to use it. And then from there, I'm more than likely in a position where, cool, I've already got Esoteric. I have KCI on field or a copy effects ready to rock and roll. Tangle Wire turns into KCI, and then KCI just turns into Uga's Nexus.
Nah, sick. I love it. Yeah, this deck's sick. One thing just becomes so problematic. It's so good. I love it. And then obviously we have KCI. Nothing really to talk about here other than like it's your combo piece. You got the fun art, which we love. The One Ring, really good card draw. Being able to use both your Manifold Key and also Tezzeret can be really, really disgusting. I've seen it firsthand. I think that it's super sick. And I mean, also like you were saying before, this is kind of the ability to make infinite The One Rings, draw whatever you need to win the game with, which is super sweet. We love that. And then we have Ugin's Nexus, again, like you were talking about earlier. It stops all the extra turn spells from like your Rug Size and stuff, your Nagilas if you're playing against them or whatever. And then also it is a win condition in the deck, which is super nice as well. Moving on to the really good enchantments. There's a couple in here that make sense. Some of them I'm very not confused, but unsure of. We have your Mystic Remora and your Heuristic Study. We love those. And then we have your Does Machines, which I have no idea what this card does. For those that don't know, it's an enchantment class. When it enters the battlefield, it's your like level 1. When this class enters, mill 2 cards, draw 2 cards, then discard 2 cards, which is really cool. I guess it feeds like all of your welders and stuff like that, but also is a nice little card draw. And then level 2, you pay 1 in a blue. When this class becomes level 2, return up to 2 target artifact cards from your library or from your graveyard to your hand, which is super sweet as well. I guess that's actually like super unique. You just have it on the battlefield and then pay 2 to bring stuff back, which is super nice. And then level 3 is 4 in a blue at the beginning of combat on your turn. Put 3 1/1 counters on target artifacts you control. If it isn't a creature, it becomes a 0/0 robot. Isn't that just the Tezzeret ult?
Yeah, that's a Tezzeret ulti.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
So, I mean, absolute worst case, I'm putting 6+1 counters on Iron Man and just beating face.
Look,
No.
it's a good backup plan, especially with all the black. It's like, cool, cop this, 10 damage. It takes them off 10 cards.
Yeah.
No, to be honest, I have yet to get this down to its third class. The essentially 2 mana, draw 2, mill 2, discard 2 goes, hey, cool, I don't need this certain artifact in hand, or I don't need this land because I have all the land that I need or all the mana. Discard those, mill over a KCI that I do need, or something along those lines. Go, cool, next turn, or if I have the mana then, pop it, grab the cards that I need, throw them, or again, like you said, welder, cool, I've got welder online. I need an artifact in bin before I swing out with Iron Man to get the um sewer cam. So cool, does machine. I have an artifact in hand. Cool, I could just immediately discard that regardless of what I mill. Now I have this online, swing with Iron Man, I win the game.
Yeah, this card's interesting. I do like it. It's like a little bit of value, a little bit of damage, good stuff. I actually do like this card a lot, actually. And then Virtue of Knowledge. You're never casting the enchantment, my guess is, but it has an adventure for instant speed, which is copy targeted, activated, or triggered ability you control for 2 mana at instant speed, which is nice. You can kind of just like not win out of nowhere, but you probably could just win out of nowhere with this. Just I guess it's also instant speed on the stack. You can like copy the ability if someone interacts, which is super nice as well.
Well, the nice thing is it makes it where cool, I can copy an Iron Man. And yeah, like you said, I'm never really casting the enchantment aspect of it, but it also copies Chrome Dome, it copies Welder. It's pretty much all of the win lines that I need. I'm going to copy it. I mean, it can even copy Esoteric if I absolutely need to in a desperate situation where cool, you go to stifle it, I will just copy it, where it's the same artifact trying to create a copy of. I'll pay the extra mana that I need, copy the effect, pay the 2 extra, still get the artifact I need. You can stifle the original.
Yeah, no, I think that card's sick. Nice little backup, a little backup tech piece. And then moving down to your lands, I mean, everything here is semi-generic for artifact decks. Obviously, you have your Inventor's Fair. That's like one of the main artifact lands. You have both the artifact lands. You have Sea of the Side Nod and Great Furnace, which I love to see. We love to see those. Ever since Darkside got banned, I saw people playing them more, which is super great. Obviously, the Mistress Workshop, probably the powerhouse of the lands here, probably out of all of them. Mysterized Village. I love seeing Mysterized Village. I feel like some decks can play it, some can't. This is definitely a deck that I feel like could play it. I think it's really sweet. This one is really interesting. One of our local players plays this one, and sometimes he'll just like do it over and over again in the end step and make like he'll just see a bunch of cards. Seeing cards is good. It's a great way to kind of understand what's going on in the deck. I like this card a lot.
Well, it's also a way for me to fish through my deck when I'm stuck under an Oppo or an Avon or something along the lines that says, hey, your Iron Man is either can't be on the field, Draneth, or its ability is useless. Cool, I'm going to dig through my deck. It doesn't matter what I grab, it's not restrictive. I'll grab the artifact that I need to win, or I'll grab the interaction piece that says, hey, that Draneth, that Oppo is irrelevant. This allows me to dig, even if it's 3 or 4 cards at a time. The fact that this is an artifact deck goes, hey, this is always going to be at least 3-4 cards. By the time that you've got the mana to activate this and you're in the position where you need to, cool, you're able to dig a decent amount and either find the pieces you need or find pieces that allow you to find the pieces that you need or get there more along those lines.
Nah, I love it. I love it. Yeah, I guess like now that we've kind of talked about your current list, you kind of getting the mindset on the cards you're playing. Do we want to quickly jump into some cards that you're not playing and kind of explain to us why you're not playing them? I know Riley has a couple, so if you want to take us away, Riley, and fire off those cards real quick.
Yeah, well, I feel like just like the main one is like we mentioned it is like Underworld Breach, Brain Freeze. Like you're already on LED. I feel like Brain Freeze is the most powerful card in the format. Like card is ridiculous. It's just like, what's like the main reason for not being on like those two cards?
So Brain Freeze, as undeniably good as what that card is, I'm not built for it. I mean, I run Graph Diggers, I run Dampening Sphere, I run Winter Moon, Torpor Orb, all the cards that go say, hey, your breach is irrelevant. And if I'm in situations where I'm desperate for a breach, I'm more than likely in a position where I've already tried to shut down breach through Iron Man. So then I run into an issue of I need to remove my own pieces, which means I either need Iron Man, I have to use the attack trigger to remove my own stacks piece, which could open up instant speed Kennen, instant speed Sisay, something along those lines, or I'm wasting my attack to open up myself to feed a Ristic, which I've worked very hard to not do. It feels basically against the deck. The same reason why I'm not on Grinding Station. Grinding Station, Breach, and LED would go hard. Grinding Station alone in the deck would go hard. But again, I don't really want to feel my own graveyard. I want to stop graveyard shenanigans. I don't want the Lumar popping off. I don't want the blue form popping off. I want to go, cool, everybody's stuck by a turn or two. Let me just do my thing with Iron Man.
Yeah, no, for sure that makes sense. It's like you already, and like it probably opens you up to like a lot more counter spells. I guess like, yeah, as I said, like you can kind of talk yourself into resolving a gamble a lot more. Be like, hey, like people are so scared of like gamble resolving and finding Underworld Breach that you're like, yeah, like cool, like I'm not on Underworld Breach, so like I'm not getting it.
Well, that, and it's the same aspect that I don't feed Ristic. I'm not giving people interaction opportunities to counter stuff. Ideally, I
Yeah.
don't cast spells. I'll play a land, I'll maybe cast an artifact, and if I do, I have more than enough mana to pay for either Ristic or Mystic. And then if you're going to waste a counter spell on a mana rock or something, or a Chrome Dome, not knowing exactly what it does, you're not it's a feels bad situation when you're up against Blue Farm or Kennen or Sisay, where it's like, cool, the few times that they do cast spells, I'll need this. This feels irrelevant. Ideally, I don't want to cast spells. I want to just attack with Iron Man, double my triggers, and go, cool, I haven't given you an opportunity to cast a counter spell. I just win the game underneath it.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Something else I wanted to quickly ask you was probably the pros and cons of the deck. Some you've already covered, like opposition agent and stuff like that. But what do you think the pros and the cons are of playing this deck in particular?
Arguably, one of the biggest pros is the Brewer's advantage. Hands down, I do believe the knowledge of this deck that you have is going to give you an advantage because a lot like how Sisay will go, cool, I am a toolboxy deck, same with Scion, stuff like that. I'm in the same aspect of, cool, I can just about pivot into any direction that I need, but I'm also able to slow the game down. I'm not as threatening as what like a Sisay or a Scion or Magda is because it's an established deck. So I have the Brewer's advantage, the Fringe advantage to go, cool, I'm just grabbing this, or hey, uh, don't blow up my Iron Man in the attack trigger or in the combat phase because I could bargain with what I'm going to go get. Cool, you want me to go get a tool drop? Kennen's trying to do his thing. Let me go get Dampening Sphere, not knowing that Dampening Sphere not only just shuts down lands, but also screws over the Vivi player that's threatening Iron Man. It's the stacks pieces that I'm able to get, the knowledge of my deck and stuff like that makes it a huge pro, or I can I can politic my way into things. And then major cons is, well, he's a 5-drop. As nice as what Mishra's is, as many artifacts that I run, I'm not on any rituals. Not a single one. I'm not on Jessica's, Pyretic, Rite of Flame, none of it. It's not worth it for me to run, especially since I'm not on Breached. I'm not designed for it. So getting up to 5 mana is a pain. And then it's the fact that I'm not able to chain him. I can copy the effects, right, sure, but I can't untap, do it again like you can with Oswald or Arkham Daxum, and then any opposition or even mind sensor effects or Ashiok goes, cool. Iron Man's shut off until you can figure out how to deal with this, which sometimes does just go off of cool. I am top decking until I find an answer, which unfortunately does the exact same thing that I'm trying to do, which shuts me down for a turn or two, which allows somebody to win.
That's great. I think that was great. I guess like the only thing that might be also relevant is that you're an on-board commander, if that makes sense. Like you need your commander to kind of do stuff. So if it does get taken out, at least like for me at this local store I play at, the one thing is like they don't let Sisei resolve, or they're like kill Sisei on the battlefield, stuff like that. So it kind of makes sense. You probably have the same experience at your local store where they kind of understand a little bit more of what Iron Man does. They probably try and take it out as fast as possible.
Yeah, it's once the once the realization that my entire deck essentially evolves around my commander, which I've done my best to help mitigate that through from more revolt, through the One Ring, through just about the repurposing bay. As much as I've done my damnedest to mitigate that, I am a commander centric deck, but that's not as much of a con as what that is. That also ironically has helped me where it's cool, I'm just trying to resolve an Iron Man versus I'm just trying to resolve Kennen. Somebody's more likely to screw over the Kennen, which evolves arguably around just as much as their commander as I do, but I'm more likely to get mine not countered, as there's a lot more quote unquote interaction spots with Iron Man, at least in terms of removing him, than what there is with Kennen, where it's cool, I'm just going to activate a mana ability and pop off. Iron Man has to attack, something like that. So it makes my politicking a little bit easier to justify leaving Iron Man alone versus the rest of the pod.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, well, if we're happy to, do you want to quickly do a couple of test hands and see how that looks like?
Yeah, be more than happy to.
Okay, so we're going to do some quick test hands of Iron Man. We are in seat 2. We are versing Malcolm Timner, Iron Man seat 2, and then it is Zerda seat 3 and Nala seat 4. Kind of give us your idea of a mulligan. What are you looking for? Turn 1, turn 2 Iron Man with some backup? What's the plan here? What are we looking for?
Not gonna lie,
Okay.
this is a snap key. Turn one out.
No,
Turn to
no,
Iron
this is no, this is not a keepable hand. So this is very much a bait hand, 10 out of 10. While this is a turn 3 Iron Man, you're dumping
It's
2 pieces of
turn 2.
interaction. A win. That's Sulfuric Falls. That's a tap land. This is a turn 3 Iron Man.
Yeah, it's turn 1 Surveil Land, turn 2 MDFC flipped. You shock it in,
Yeah.
play LED. That's 5 mana on turn 2.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's with Inala and Zerda. This is not worth having. You need the interaction because Inala ideally is going to win this turn. You could keep the MDFC and keep up Fluster, but that feels like you're sandbagging. So this is not at all what you want to keep. Ideally, you want to get out either Iron Man turn 2 or turn 3, or a stacks piece out that says, yeah, nobody can really play the game until I decide we can play the game. So this is definitely a mulligan for me.
Yeah. All right, let's mulligan. See what the... Oh, this one looks all right. Oh my gosh, this looks really good, actually.
Oh yeah, no, this is an amazing hand. As a second 7, this is definitely a keep. This is turn 1 Cage Opal, and you have days available, so that makes it where even though our island is tapped, it doesn't matter. So yeah, for sure, this is a keep. This is turn 1 without even knowing what the top card is. Vault into Volcanic. No, that makes life. Ooh, that's almost worth changing. Yeah, turn 1 Flooded Strand into Volcanic into Graph Diggers, drop the Mox Opal, and ship the turn. If Inala tries to pop off, or if Zerda tries to set up real aggressive, we have the days to go, cool, I know you're going to be mana restrictive, especially the Inala, since they run such a tight line, to go, cool, here's a disruption piece. And even if we do have to bounce the island back, that doesn't really hurt us, as it will be turn to Mishra's. Mishra's can turn into the Stronic Resonator, which turns on Opal, and we're still sitting in a very happy spot.
I'm super turbo build because I play a lot of turbo decks, and like I look at this hand, especially after the draw, I would definitely greed for like Mistras into turn 1, Mobile Grafdigger's Psionic into turn 2 Iron Man, like with Grafdigger's Mobile and Psionic on board.
To be honest, with knowledge of what Inala does, and same with kind of Malcolm, that they want to play a little bit in the graveyard and stuff like that. And Zerta's more of a mid-range deck. It is not difficult to go, cool, now that I have the Stronic, as you heard me kind of mumble go, that might change things. If Inala kept the first 7, I'm definitely keeping the original play. If Inala mold down, yeah, I'm keeping if I need interaction, the Grafdigger should be enough to stop them, but if not, I do have that piece of interaction. But if they mold low and if that's good for them, I'm definitely Mishra's. Mishra's will turn into Grafdiggers, and Stronic Grafdiggers should be enough to stop them, because they can't yoink things out of libraries and whatnot. And then the Mox Opal, which turns it on, which means turn 2, that is Iron Man turn 2, which is realistically, it's eating a treasure token, going to go get a Soul Ring or Peter Parker or something, or a Amulet of Vigor. Then that's turn 3, turn 3. We are playing Tangle Wire to slow down the table, and then we are double activating Iron Man to set up KCI and Esoteric. So we'll have Tangle Wire on turn 3 due to Mishra's, and then due to Iron Man and the Soul Ring, we will have eaten the Stronic to go get Esoteric. The other trigger will eat the Stronic to get KCI. KCI will eat the treasure token generated to create a copy of Esoteric. And we are set up to win turn 4 with protection in hand and Tangle Wire going, hey, everybody's kind of screwed this turn, not knowing that I'm winning. So this is almost a guaranteed turn 4 win, unless somebody's got a really nutty hand. And even if so, the Grafdigger should be enough to stop them, or the days, depending on how things go out.
No, awesome. Let's look at another pod, shall we? Let's look at another pod, see what we get here. All right, our next pod, we are in seat 4. In seat 1 is Ishai and Rugrak. Seat 2 is Money is Calgar. Seat 3 is Atali, and then we are in seat 4.
That is so unfortunate. If this was seat 2, maybe even seat 3, this would be a keep, just because the abundance of mana and the Imposter mech makes it where, cool, I can copy the Marnius, or I can copy the Atali when it drops and do my own thing. But because we're seat 4, it's Marnius, wrong Ishai's first seat. That's terrifying. This is definitely a mulligan. It's mana heavy, which is amazing, but we need something to solidify that we're getting a turn 2. Yep, nope. This does some things for us. Let's see, this is a Gemstones. Realistically, we will pitch.
Is it pitching the curse totem? Because if you have a look, not a lot of them have activated abilities, right? Like, I mean, Marnius can make tokens.
Marnius is really the only deck here that Curse Totem's going to work
Turns off
for. So
Warren
it's
Soul Trader.
Yeah, that's one of those reactionary kind of tutors that you'll do with Iron Man versus preemptive, because then they're geared up to deal with the Curse Totem versus trying to react to the Curse Totem. So yeah, realistically, it's Gemstone pitching Curse Totem. So that's one. So yeah, we definitely would end up keeping this. Sorry,
An island for turn.
that actually does help.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Mana Confluence. Yeah, the LED, and then surprisingly, I would play the Does Machine. Well, we'll also pitch our graveyard because realistically, what we're going to do here, they turn to Iron Man. So we want to see about getting more win cons in our graveyard because there's Ugin's Nexus. So if we can get a KCI or one of the other pieces for it in the graveyard, we'll just pull it back. So there's a Torpor Orb.
You discard 2, is that right? Is it discard 2?
Yeah.
So you
Mill 2, draw 2, then discard 2. Yeah.
So what you're
So
discarding the Ugins?
discard the Ugins and discard the Chrome Ox.
Gotcha.
And then that gives us Force Negation with being able to pitch an Imposter Mech for interaction and a turn to play an island, cast an Iron Man, do our thing. So yeah, that's interaction on top of early Iron Man, and now we have a non-threatening, cool, we essentially have our graveyard is now an extension of our hand. We just have to pick the 2 cards. And we could just keep going, and now we're not concerned about pitching the rest of our hand or anything of that sort. If we don't need the interaction, cool. Now Imposter Mech's in the graveyard, which if I need it, Does Machine will pull it back. Cool. And my turn to have an Itali. My turn to have a Marnius. Whatever, cool. This now I've got the generation and the advantage to go, yep, this is mine. I'm getting ahead.
Yeah, it's again, Turbo Pilled. I saw the turn 1 Iron Man into putting Vexing Bauble into play into like Roguish Eye and Atali.
Vexing Bubble. Wait, where's the Vexing Bubble?
Well, you just like sack the treasure from the turn 1 Iron Man
to
put
yes.
Vexing Bauble into play.
Yeah.
It's like that's I look at how Atali gets cooked, and I looked at that hand. I go, wow, that's a turn 1 Vexing Bauble on the board, and you can kind of make sure the Iron Man resolves.
Oh yeah.
Be like, hey guys, I'm putting a Vexing Bauble into play. Like, you have to protect this at Cooksy Tali. Like,
oh yeah, no, 10 out of 10, and that's one of those cool. That's a pivot moment. Cool. I have the ability to turn 1 Iron Man. Realistically, I don't really want to pitch the Cursed Totem or the Ugin's Nexus if I don't have the ability to get it back. So that's where if I didn't have Ugin's Nexus in the bin and I had just about any other artifact, 10 out of 10 I would have done turn 1 Iron Man into a Vexing Bubble, especially against this pod. Even being seat 4, that would guarantee me a turn or 2. But because Ugin's Nexus is in hand without a reliable way to get it back for sure, it's almost better to sandbag for the turn and go, cool, what do I have? What do I don't have? This gave me interaction. This still gave me a turn 2 Iron Man with a theoretically a turn 3 Ugin's Nexus is back in hand, ready to rock and roll just whenever I need it. So it's purely pod dependent because, if it wasn't seat 4 and it wasn't Italian Roggy Shy going ahead of me, I would have sandbagged and waited a little bit more. Or if it's turn 1, turn 1, screw everything in my hand. Turn 1 Vexing Bubble, I just screwed 2 of the decks, and Marnius, which is artifact heavy just as much as I am, just got screwed as well. So now I'm going, cool. I've essentially made everybody stub their toe really hard, and Itali's crying in the corner. I'm almost guaranteed to win this game.
Yeah, this deck is super, super cool.
This, as efficient as what I have made this to fly under Ristic and everything else, I've, as you've seen, made it very efficient to get out Iron Man turn 2, turn 3, and that pivots into how are we winning the turn after you got Iron Man out? Well, get a better deck. I don't know what to tell you.
All right, let's look at one more pod here. Let's have a look. Let's get a new pod. We are in seat 1. We have a gemstone, so we're not doing so great. But it's Iron Man, and then it's Timnacrom, Rog Thrasios, and then Rog Ishai. This is going to be an interesting pod.
This hand is atrocious. It's got 2 win cons, but no colored pips, which can be a downside at times, especially with Fellerstone being my only quote unquote pit producer and no way to get it out, for sure, no, definitely gonna mulligan that. And
Also mulligan, I'm
unfortunately,
guessing
you
that
will
lands.
get hands like this where it's cool. It's what I would like to see, but never at the same time. Unfortunately, it is an instant mulligan because there's no land. Interesting.
Seems like a pretty decent 6.
Yeah. I would definitely keep this 6. I would bottom the Stronic Resonator because as nice as Stronic is, that's more of a once Iron Man is out relevant card.
Mhm.
And then yeah, this is a for sure turn 1 training center, so that way we have Pyroblast available, though granted depending on what the top deck is, but before I even see a turn, oh fucking word, we got this in the bag. Screw
We're
Pyroblast.
cooking.
This is turn 1 Welder, and we're saying yeah, no, this is turn 1 Welder, turn 2 into turn 1 Welder, turn 2 Talisman. And I say that because as much as I want to go cool, turn 2 Goblin Engineer, throw Sewer Cam in the bin, I got nothing to put it out with.
Mhm.
As much as I want to just go cool, I win the game. But this is a turn 3 win. This hands down, this is a turn 3 win. So it's turn 1 Welder, turn 2 Talisman of Creativity, turn 3 we're able to do the engineer to put Sewer Cam in the graveyard, swap the 2 and just keep swapping the Talisman and Sewer Cam back and forth. We'll drop down to like 5 life, it doesn't matter, generate infinite colorless, cast Iron Man a bunch of times, draw a bunch of cards until we find another artifact that will make us mana as we need, cast
Oh, well,
that.
you have
It doesn't,
Fabricate in hand. You only need 1 blue,
yeah,
and you find the artifact anyway. Like,
that works too. It's just like even if we didn't have Fabricate, the fact that it's cool, a turn 3 win on board, and we don't even cast Iron Man. It's cool. We got it. And I mean, you'll find games where it's like this, like cool. I don't even need to cast Iron Man. I'm just winning the game. And yeah, this is seat 1. So yeah, realistically, by the time we are winning in the opportune time, the same way that like Rockside wants to be winning. It's cool. Everybody else is hitting at turn 2. They just set up a board state. We will feed 1 card to Mystic, which realistically is what people would have down at this point in time. So we're going to feed 1 card to Mystic or an Esper or whatever. I'll sacrifice giving that 1 card for I'm winning turn 3, y'all's turn 2.
Nah, that's incredible. This deck seems super sick and really resilient. I mean, I was like, cool, put the gemstone and I hope that you draw a land, but I guess you don't care about the gemstone because it makes you colorless or generic. That lets you cast your talismans and stuff like that. So that's super sick. Um, yeah, awesome. So now that we've kind of looked at the deck, we understand how you like to play the deck. Did you want to tell us a little bit more about other archetypes that someone else might be able to play if they're interested in playing Iron Man, they don't want to play full stacks or want to try and go a little bit faster with some different win conditions or stuff like that? Or
Yeah, of course. So I'm more of a tempo deck. I am extremely heavy on interaction and just down spell stuff like that. I fly under Ristic. I'm tempo. I'm designed to have just enough stacks pieces to go cool. I've slowed everybody else down, but I ignore it. There are lines where I don't like breach. I'm not designed for it. There are decks that are turbo breach lines where they will use um, Painter Servant and Grinding Station to mill themselves, put breach on the board, and win the game through that, grabbing other wins or Thoracle. There are hard stacks out, which will involve like Vexing Bauble and Knowledge Pull, which goes, hey, we're just cannot cast the spells, and we are purely now into beat face mode. Iron Man gets to ignore that as I don't cast spells. We just tinker it in so we can continue to find other win lines while we've locked the board down. There are variations from the breach, which is the turbo, runs more um, rituals to get out Iron Man a little bit faster or get out breach a little bit easier. Uh, Grinding station that will be paired with the uh, grindstone and painter servant combo. There are also archetypes that purely go top deck manipulation with Sensei's Abiding Top, artifact producers on like Mystic Forge, where I'm just going to draw my deck with a Urza's Battle Thopter that just says, cool, I can flash out artifacts and call it spells. You've got everything. You can go turbo, which is the Breach and the Senseis. You can go hard stacks, the Vexing Bauble and Knowledge Pool. There's also Uba Mask and Soul Staler. One that is fun is you can do Karn or Null Rod with Microsynth Lattice, which turns everything into an artifact, and that's another hard lock Iron Man still is able to ignore. I like the tempo, but it's easy to pivot Iron Man into a more of a turbo generic is it deck or a hard stacks we're winning the game, or we're either I'm winning the game or it's a draw kind of option.
Yeah, nah, super cool. And then like weirdly, like you talk about the lattice, and like you can turn Iron Man into the microsynth in that land, right? In that line,
Oh,
like you can't go to combat, sack Iron Man into
it's
lattice.
no. As convenient as what that would be, Iron Man does not allow you to sack artifact creatures, which is
Damn.
where like Arkham Daxum and Iron Man differentiate. Is Arkham Daxum says, hey, you can only sack artifact creatures. Iron Man says you cannot sack artifact creatures. So as you can go get Repurposing Bay and then use Repurposing Bay to eat Iron Man, assuming you have a way to untap the Repurposing. So that is possible to do it that way. The other option is you can do Ugin's Nexus. You can get Ugin's Nexus out, cast it, whatever, have Vex and Bubble on field, or not, but use Iron Man to eat the Ugin's Nexus, go get Microsynth Lattice as a 6-drop, and then that extra turn that is generated due to Ugin's Nexus will go get you Vexing Bubble, which there's your lock. Or, sorry, not Lattice and Vexing Bubble, Knowledge Pool and Vexing Bubble with Ugin's Nexus, or Nexus into Lattice, and then turning a Soul Ring or any 1-drop into a Null Rod is another lock. And that's a cool, here's using Ugin's Nexus the way that quote unquote people expect you to, into cool, here's a win. Here's not technically a win, but I'm going to lock the game out and just beat face.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like super, super cool. And like the more I look at this deck, the like cooler it is, and just like the more lines that like you look at it and go, wow, that's possible to do in this as well.
The amount of lines that you can throw into this deck is absolutely insane. Just to go over, because like I'm on 3 different win lines: the Welder Cam, the Chrome Dome, and the Nexus lines. But there's Sensei's Abiding Top, there's the soft lock, there's the hard lock. The soft lock would be like Uba Mask and Soulless Jailer, Vexing Bubble, and Knowledge Pool. Then there's hard lock, which is the Null Rod and Microsynth Lattice. You can mill people
Yeah,
out.
like
So you can mill yourself. You can mill others. The Painter Servant and Grindstone, those are an amazing. If you're on Breach, mill yourself. You've just essentially said, hey, cool, I have enough for Breach to go. It doesn't matter. Or if you're able to get out Painter Servant, Grindstone with a Unwinding Clock and a couple other artifacts that make you at least 3 mana, will go, hey, at the beginning of everybody's upkeep, I'm going to mill you out. That would also work out with Academy Manufacturer and Grinding Station. Academy lines, which are very common to Chrome Dome lines. They essentially use Academy, Nuka-Cola, and KCI to generate indefinite tokens, and you can swap out KCI for Grinding Station and mill your opponents that way. You can throw Magda in this, and then you can throw 1 or 2 Magda lines in here as Iron Man itself creates the treasure tokens. Price Statue, Chrome Dome, there's a bunch of outlets to create infinite treasure tokens, which means Magda does Magda things. Sensei's Talk kind of combos with a ham sandwich. The biggest downside with Top would be feeding Ristic as much as what it does. And that's the basic gist of most of the common win lines with Iron Man, but I mean, it is if you find any artifact win line that fits in either purely colorless or in Is It, it'll work. Because I mean, there are like legacy KCI win lines which use a scrap crawler and the other variation of it to generate infinite mana, then Goblin Cannon out everything. Just cool. I'm going to activate Goblin Cannon infinite amount of times, do infinite amount of damage. There's it, essentially, if you can think about it, and there's a card for it, there's a way to break it, especially if it's an artifact.
Yeah, nah, just like super, super cool. That's all I can say. This deck it's super cool and definitely going to be trying it out in the next couple of weeks, especially after talking about it and kind of understanding it a bit more.
Yeah, no, this is the only real downside that I will say about getting into Iron Man is the idea of it, and on paper, it's super easy to understand. But in the games and learning what stacks pieces will help where, or when to play stacks, or when to remove your own, that is an aggressive curve to learn.
Yeah.
With Sisay, it's Sisay's kind of a harder deck to learn. Like it's easy to pilot, but hard to learn purely because of like, hey, when do I push? When do I not push? When do I grab certain pieces? Like you don't ever want to play a Teferi, or you don't want to play a defense grid and pass the turn like that. Cool. You've given the win to somebody else. You can do the same thing in Iron Man without even realizing. Vexing Bauble at the wrong time or without the mana or the ability to eat it, especially later game, is almost a guaranteed you're handing the win to somebody else. Setting down a Fairy Mastermind or something along the lines that somebody else can utilize, especially in a very clone heavy meta that we're kind of becoming, is also a problem. As mid rangey as this deck can be, learning when and where to play your stacks pieces or your mid range pieces is the hardest aspect of this deck. Learning essentially, you've got to learn the meta and how to interact with it if you want to play tempo or stacks, and that's not an easy thing to play with.
Yeah, no, for sure. I get that. Anything else from you, Jack?
No, not really. I think we've covered this deck pretty well. I mean, it's really great to have you on and you know explain it because when I started looking at this deck originally when we first found it, I kind of understood it, but now kind of talking about it, I have a further big in-depth idea of what this deck does and kind of how crazy powerful it is. But also just like small pieces here and there that you wouldn't really find without being able to talk to the pilot. So I just wanted to at the end here say thank you so much for coming on, talking about this deck. This deck seems really sick, and it's awesome to see like a passionate player talk about their deck because we're all passionate about a certain deck, but it's really great to get it from an outside perspective, from a different deck as well. So
I appreciate y'all inviting me on. This was honestly a lot of fun to come on and essentially go, cool, here's been my last 2-year passion project, and being able to go, Hugh, let me gush about this deck for a little bit and the rambling and stuff like that. It was fun. Sorry a little bit about the rambling, but at the same time, this is my pet deck. It's a little hard sometimes not to get rambling about. Yeah, I already said it, but let me reiterate how good this deck is.
no, absolutely.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, but yeah, just like thanks again for coming on. Like I randomly reached out because I was like, oh, he's the Iron Man guy, which is funny. I remember you mentioning in our DMs that like you never thought about becoming like the Iron Man guy, but like here you are.
Yeah, no, that's such a surreal moment learning like cool get again getting on the Iron Man as essentially a joke, like the same kind of aspect as why would you play Gyruda? Well, for the shits and giggles. Uh Getting on playing it going, oh wait a minute, this is actually kind of fun. Let me see what I can really do with this. And unintentionally going, cool, I'm this is turning into a deck that I don't play at my LGS because either A, it gets shut down immediately, or I'm the only one having fun because I know how to shut down all my friends' decks, which is a feel bad situation. So taking it to smaller tournaments and doing fairly well and having fun, and then ironically going, cool, as a new cEDH player, we're just gonna say what's the worst that can happen, and going absolutely to the deep end and going to the boil 2 with Iron Man. Oh, wonderful experience. Horrible placement. Wonderful experience. um, it was a hodgepodge of this deck does stuff into cool. A year later, going to the boil 3, going cool. I am top 8 with the same deck. The only deck that I accidentally is the only deck that I've turned in for tournaments just because cool, this is the deck that I know the best. This is the deck that I can go cool. No matter the situation, I've got a reaction or a game plan or a situation that I can go cool. I can run through my head and know what's going on because I know all the cards in it versus uh I don't know how to play this Kennen deck. It's meta, but I've got no idea how to do this. I just know how to flip Kennen and pray. With this, cool. Kennen's about to pop off. A Rock Thrust is about to pop off, or somebody's about to pop, and I know how to go cool. I can use Iron Man to go get this piece, cast this piece, or cheat this piece out, and I'm still progressing my board state, slowing down my opponents, but still, without my opponents knowing, pushing for a win. So yeah, it's such a surreal kind of situation of going cool. I went from this is a meme deck to yeah, this is a fun deck. That's my main deck that ironically does really well.
Yeah, and I mean, I can kind of tell that it does does the work. I mean, doing those test hands, you can kind of see just how like what we kept the 6, and most of those felt pretty quick and pretty resilient. So yeah, I think that you've done an incredible job with putting this together, and it's definitely going to be something that I want to play against in the near future. So definitely we'll talk about getting you on the show for sure and doing some gameplay because I think that'd be sick to do if you're interested,
Oh
of
yeah,
course.
no, I'm more than interested. I'm I would love to be able to come on, play with y'all some, show y'all how the deck ends up working in actual gameplay and just how unassuming it is until all of a sudden it's why is he winning?
Do you have anything you want to shout out? Anything like a Discord or like anything like that in particular?
The only Discord to kind of shout out is the Iron Man server. It is just about everything about Iron Man, new cards, old cards, weird, funky idea test cards from everything from like Orb of Dreams to uh, Earthquake. I mean, it is just about anything and everything that you can think of that might be relatively good. We're here for, so I guess shout out Iron Man's dominancy.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll throw all that in the description below. Definitely worth checking out this deck. Definitely checking out the Discord if you're definitely interested in that. If you're interested in watching more deck techs like this, definitely recommend going and having a look. We have a Sisay, we have a Nezahal, we have a Daga Rayhan. We love doing these deck techs. We love getting people on the show and talking about them. If you do want to see more, let us know down below. Do comment, do like, share. We post every week. Thank you for watching. See you on the next one.
Easy. Thanks.
Thank you.